soul purpose, destiny, true north is lit up. It's lit up. It's lit up in a specific way, and I want to talk about that. Relationships, relationship karma, past life relationship karma is lit up like it's nobody's business right now. You might not be feeling that though. So what I want to do is kind of go through this, 5 or 6 themes, really big themes to talk about. And then I want to go into how we can best work with this energy, how we can work with Lionsgate. Lionsgate is, how many of you, and this, I can't see comments right now, but they might shift over. Oh wait, I see Sarah's comment, oh shit, LOL. I see Hillary's comment, so I'm seeing comments, but let's just do a really quick interactive, and this is good for reflection too. So just feel into what is this time feeling like for you? If you were going to remove the thoughts around, well, work is really intense, so it's stressful for me, so it must not be that, or something wild just happened in my relationship life that's brought about some grief, so it must not be that. If we were going to remove those thoughts and go, everything that's showing up in my life is crazy perfect. Everything. The relationship drama is crazy perfect. The work stuff that's really stressy is crazy perfect. The physical symptoms I'm feeling is crazy perfect. And we were just going to go and hold this space of, it is all being created for me to perfection. And this is just a great practice in itself. So here's practice number 1 for Lionsgate portal, for this new moon, for this astrology. This is a great practice all of the time, but here's just one, is life is delivering itself on a silver platter that is so incredibly perfect for me. And can you feel there's like a shift that happens in your system? And I invite you to allow for that shift. Instead of pushing something away, we just go, okay, we accept, it's like radical acceptance of, okay, this is what's going on. This is what's being delivered. This is what life is gifting me with. And it might not feel like a gift, right? But this is what life is gifting me with right now, right? All of this is so perfectly designed for me. All of it, all of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. And now we can share. So if you're feeling like, okay, cool, I've let go into a space of everything is so crazy perfect, and this is how I'm feeling. This is what's coming up for me. Now share from there, because this allows us to go a bit deeper. It allows us to be a bit more accepting. It allows us to stop creating like buckets and putting, well, this doesn't count, or this can't be a part of the astrology. It's all a part. All of it is. This can't be a part of my Lionsgate. This can't be a part of my new moon. No. All of it is. All of it. The whole cotton picking thing. You're sick in bed for 3 days. That's a part of it. Your relationship just blew up. That's a part of it. Work is super stressy. That's a part of it. You feel like you're messy and you're in a cocoon going from a caterpillar to a butterfly. That's a part of it. And so now just sharing. And if you don't feel to share, that's totally beautiful and perfect, or you're watching this somewhere else and you're like, I don't know, this isn't the live and I'm not live. Maybe just write it down, right? But it's really giving ourselves this moment to, one, honor exactly what's going on for us, because this is what we are co-creating, right? This is what we're co-creating. We're a part of the creation, right? We're not like solely, little self isn't solely responsible for creating, but this is exactly what's being created for us this moment in time. And just radical acceptance of that. And then go, now we can reflect a little bit deeper and go, how do we feel? What's arising for us? Where am I at? And it might bring you to a place of, oh my God, I am so tired. Or, oh my gosh, I am so emotional. Or, well, I am so lost. Or I am so confused. Or I am so ecstatic. Or I am so full of fire. I am so full of electricity. I am buzzing, right? And just, that's practice 1. That's practice 1. So now I would love to move into the astrology. So from this kind of open space, this was also an opening practice to kind of give us a way to get into our bodies. As I talked about, everything that we do is embodied around here. And so this gives us a way to just feel deeper, witness a little bit deeper from some of the deeper wisdom centers that are beyond just the mind. Okay, so what I'm going to invite us to do now that we're in this open space is to feel into some of these different themes that I'm going to share. And it might be that one word out of 10 resonates with you, or one theme out of 6 really like sets you off. So now as we walk into this, don't focus on what is not showing up, focus on what is showing up for you. So it's not this, nope, not that, nope, not that, nope, not that. It's like a, I don't really feel that, but this one I really feel. It's a, wow, there's something there for me. There's something there. This is that taking our attention and taking our focus to what is showing up instead of sitting in a seat of no, 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 right? It's allowing us to, again, go deeper, allowing us to go deeper. These are tiny little simple practices that shift a lot of things for us. So, all right, I'm going to share a couple. You might want to grab a notebook, you might want to grab a pen, or you might just want to be in a space of, okay, I'm really, really open, and I'm feeling and I'm listening with more of my being than just my mind. I'm listening with my heart. I'm listening with my emotions. I'm listening with my intuition. I'm listening with my belly, right? I'm listening with much more than just my logic, my ration, my reason. So I might share a theme and your heart might start pounding in your chest. You might get chills, you might start sweating, you might get angry, you might get really sad. But we're gonna walk into this with our witness fully switched on. Our witness is fully switched on, right? So we're witnessing, we're watching what's happening in our body, we're watching what's happening in our emotions, we're watching what's happening with maybe a vision pops up, or a thought, or a feel, or a something. We're watching. We're being so attuned to self. We are being so all of our presence, all of our awareness is on self, right? And we get to watch what happens here. Okay, this is a huge practice. This is, by the way, this is practice number 2. I know I'm talking about the astrology, but this is practice number 2. So set yourself up for success. Step into the witness place. And you can always come back and watch this replay. We'll leave it up for about a week or so. So if you're like, I wasn't in a great space, you can come back and do it again. But get in the best space that you can in this moment, right? Just, that's it. And then let go of all the, oh, I'm not doing it perfect, or I want to do it better, or just let it go. Like, this is the best I've got in this moment. Boom, that's it. Okay, so let's first talk about constrictions. I'm gonna not talk astrology because our brain starts to go wonky. So I'm gonna just talk, first theme is constrictions, constraints. Am I feeling like the world is constricting me? And I know most of us are, given the current climate of the world, given COVID things and all of the other things that are going on. But you just feel for you. Am I feeling constricted in any way? Am I feeling limited in any way? Am I feeling like I'm in a box in some way? Constrictions. Now this is insane, and you're probably not gonna like this. And you can fight me all you want, and that's perfectly beautiful, but it might be something to reflect on. This is just an offering. If we're feeling external constrictions, if we're feeling like the world is constricting us, my family dynamics are constricting me, my work is constricting, it's somehow limiting me. This is the part you might not like. If I'm feeling that from the external, it is most likely happening on the internal. If I'm feeling external constraints, external constrictions, most likely it's also happening on the inside, in the internal, right? So some way of constricting belief systems, constricting perceptions of the world, constricting patterns, constricting habits, constricting thought patterns, constricting absorbed social conditioning, right? Oh, this is a good doorway in. This is a beautiful place to work. This is a beautiful, beautiful place to work. It's intense, it's not comfortable, but it's beautiful. Let me now talk astrology. This is Saturn. This is Saturn. Constraints, constriction, limits. Saturn is perfectly conjunct Kali. Kali, those of you who don't know Kali, Kali is wild liberation. Wild liberation. Like high level liberation to release you from everything that holds you back from being full soul self, from your fullest potential, your truest life, your truest essence, your whole self, your deep wild gifts, your beautiful authentic sexuality, the wildness, the fullness. She is liberator and she's glorious and she's perfectly with Saturn during this Lion's Gate, perfectly. If I were to recommend working with something, I would recommend working with Kali right now. If constrictions and constraints are something that's coming up for you, even if it's only showing up in the external, like, wow, my relationship is really limiting. My family system is really limiting. My ability to travel feels really constricting, right? That's a beautiful and intense and wild place to work. And she's kind of there saying like, hey, let's work through, let's release these limiting patterns. Let's rewire our thought systems. Let's rewire all of this stuff. Okay, so that's Kali and Saturn. By the way, there is a big, beautiful ReWilding online retreat sale going on. I know, we have just announced it. We're pulling all the retreats off. I'm saying that because we have a Kali retreat where it is 5 modules of just working with Kali as liberation. There will be details kind of all over our Facebook group and probably on the website. And I don't know, the girls can maybe leave a link here, but I don't want to focus on that. I just want to say that's there. That's an offering if you're feeling that. Next theme. So come back into the body. Come back into the body. Next theme that I want to talk about is, by the way, let me just give you a practice. Let me just give you a quick practice around working with these constrictions and constraints. If you're like, I don't know if I want to do an online retreat. I don't know if I'm ready for that much liberation or that much freedom, right? And you just want to practice. Move a lot of energy. Move a lot of energy, right? Move, like let fire rip through you. Move energy. And it's like primal, can be animalistic, can be just like raw energy. You're outside, you're stomping your feet, you're dancing wildly, you're roaring loudly. So if we can embody a liberated feel, and we can kind of aim this embodiment of a liberated feel in our bodies, and we can aim it at mental constructs. We can aim it at relationship constraints that we might feel, or whatever we might feel. That energy can flow right into that. So, but it's not a thinking thing. We don't get to think our way into fucking Kali. That is not how this works. She is feminine embodiment. She is wild, fierce liberation, right? She is the goddess with the garland of skulls around her head, because what she has done is she takes the ego off, right? She literally frees you from ego constraints. So it's not something you're gonna think your way into, but big movements, move big energy, move big energy, move big energy right through the constraints. Even if you're super, super tired, it's oftentimes that it's just locked up energy. It's oftentimes that it's just locked up and it just needs to move. Okay, so that's that. Let's talk about this one. I love is this theme of karmic relationship, karmic partnership, karmic intimacy, karmic relationship. So when I say karmic, it's almost as if it was, I hate to say the word destined to be, but it feels like wow, you just couldn't stop this relationship from happening, or you just couldn't stop this pattern from repeating in relationship, or you just keep attracting the same kind of person or the same kind of relationship dynamic. You just keep creating this power play in a relationship. You just keep repeating lack of intimacy in a relationship. You just keep, or it might not even be showing up in the relationship, it might show up in self. Like you keep repeating, wow, I just really can't trust. Or you keep repeating, wow, I just really can't commit. Or I just really can't go in. And right now what's happening, and it can be showing up on surface level too, is past people can come back into our lives, or we might be having dreams about past people that we've been in relationship with. This can be coming like back around. And it's this wildly beautiful time of looking at what relationship karma is asking to be released. What relationship, and I think of this as like baggage, right? Like what baggage, relationship baggage, like psychic baggage, internal patterning baggage. What baggage, absorbed conditioning baggage, like, wow, this is the way my mom loved my dad and my dad loved my mom, and I've absorbed some of that baggage, right? Or past life, it goes way beyond just this life. It's kind of what we came in with, our karmic imprint around relationship, and it is lit up like it's nobody's business right now. Lit up with Juno on the south node. So now I'm going to talk astrology. Juno on the south node. They've been doing a dance for a while, but it's like, whoosh, this is the moment. Juno on the south node with north node. So south node is a node of fate. It's fated. It's a fated line. I talk about true north line, soul purpose. Is held in this particular line. It's a beautiful line to work with. It's amazing, the insights that come from it, and the old karmic clearing and the past life regression, and the soul gifts that come too, because in this south node territory, not only do we hold karmic imprint from past lives, right? I always talk about it as like a backpack. We came into this life with a backpack of karmic stuff. And we think of karmic stuff as bad. Oftentimes we're like, whoa, I have to experience this like relationship pattern on repeat until I don't. But the beautiful thing about South Node is in there is wisdom, like past life wisdom that we know in our bones, past life gifts that we know in our bones. So when we start talking about relationship gifts and relationship, we talk about like golden shadow. Some of you might relate to golden shadow. Like in this South Node territory, there's a lot of shadow work, a lot of unconscious, but there's also the golden shadow in there, right? There's what are the gifts that are lying dormant? What are the gifts that are lying hidden? What is the like tantric wisdom that you know in your body, but you just haven't opened to yet, right? What is the relationship knowing, right? That you maybe just haven't opened up to yet, or you know collaboration. You know how to work collaboratively. You know how to partner. You know tantric expression. You know sacred sexuality. You know sex transmutation. You know these things. And I'm starting to weave sex in because Isis is on the North Node, and she's sacred sexuality. She's sexual healing. She's sex magic. If there was one archetype that I would link to sex magic, it's Isis. One archetype. If I had to pick one, I mean, there are many. It's Isis. When it comes to sex magic, she's on the North Node, so she's opposite. So we've got this like amazing lineup, and for me, we get to do this. You know, we get to look at the baggage that we're holding on to. The baggage, like here's a strong one that I see in many, is I distrust the masculine, right? It's a feminine, it's an overall feminine. Now this is There's feminine, masculine in all of us. I'm not saying this specific to women at all, but it's this, I cannot soften and surrender. Dare I even say the word surrender, right? Like we start to get triggered. Surrender. Why would I surrender? No, there's a lot of power in surrender and pleasure and beauty and magic in surrender. You're going to love it. I promise you will love it. It's not giving away your power. It's actually stepping into your power. That sounds fucking insane. It's not. It's like the thing that we crave the most, but we're so fucking afraid of it, right? But we get to work this territory. We get to. It's lit up. So this might be a theme that you're feeling in some way. Also conjunct this line or with this line is Persephone. Now I know a lot of you worked with Persephone in the online retreat that we did. Persephone is also extraordinarily linked to feminine sexuality, to that surrender piece, right? Her myth was that she was initiated into womanhood, into sexuality by the god of the underworld, by being abducted into the underworld. I mean, this is, I could go into this for a very, very long time, how rampant this fantasy runs in the collective psyche. Right? It's, what is that book? What is that crazy book that went wild? Like the submissive, why can I not think of it? If someone can think of this, 50 Shades of Grey. There we go. 50 Shades of Grey. That book went so super crazy because it's something that is just very held high in the psyche, in the collective psyche. And it's that myth. It's basically that myth. It's that myth. It's thanks Rachel. As I'm like bumbling around, help someone, can I get a little bit of help? So Persephone is right on that North Node line along with Demeter, who is another feminine archetype. That's her mother, and how her mother kept her, let me see the right word. Her mother held her in her child. Her mother held her like, do not want you to grow up. Do not want you to explore sexuality. Do not want to show you the whole world. Do not want you to, like, I want you to stay a little girl forever. I want you to stay a little girl forever. I want you to stay a little girl forever. And some of you might be relating to this because this myth is very much alive. And there's this attraction to the bad boy. That's Persephone. Attraction to the bad boy. That's Persephone. Attraction to the bad boy, to the dark side. Like, I want the leather-wearing motorcycle riding, one that's going to take me places that I can't take myself or that I haven't been before, right? It's going to push me into pleasure that I've never experienced before, right? And when you work with it from a very sacred, high-level place, you work with it in the light and with love. Right? So that's our Persephone online retreat, and you work with Hades. So that's another option for something that you could possibly work with. If you were going to do a practice with this energy, this line, I would set up a line, right? Because this is embodiment, so I'll give you an embodiment practice, not just like a journal reflective question, which are great too, but I would set up a line in your house or in a room or outside somewhere where you can really let go and you can feel like you're in sacred space. So create some sort of light a candle or set an intention, but create some sacred space. Set up a line and you're standing in the middle of the line, right? So and then you're looking forward and you're looking behind you, right? So, but you're standing in the middle of the line, and that line becomes your destiny line, that true north line, that nodes of fate line. Behind you is your south node, where you came from, past life, karmic stuff. In front of you is where you're headed in this life, right? Where you're headed, where you're moving toward in this life. Then I would turn around and I would walk into south node and I would go, what is here? What is here? What wildness is here? What is here? Right? What kind of baggage am I holding on to? What sort of past life flashes do I have? What am I feeling in my body? And a lot of times you can do this on your own. It helps to be in a space. It helps to have a guide. It helps when someone's kind of energetically opening that door for you, but this might be all you need. And so walk into that space and just, okay, what am I feeling? Oh my God, I'm feeling like I'm being burnt at the stake. Fuck. Or, oh my God, I feel like I am in a sacred prostitute temple and I am being taken advantage of. Oh my God, I feel like my sex magic is being manipulated and used. I'm being forced. Oh my God, I feel like I'm being forced to, let me take it off of the sexuality. Oh my God, I'm being forced to be in a relationship. Oh my God, I'm being forced to marry this person. Oh my gosh, this is why I keep repeating this pattern of giving myself over, or of feeling overly responsible, or blah, 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 blah. It can be many different things. By the way, if sacred sexuality is really alive for you, if sacred prostitute just lit up for you and you're like, holy shit, I'm pretty sure I was in a temple. I'm pretty sure like I have that innate wiring in me. There's a sexual healing and awakening retreat that's happening here in Colorado. It's our in-person retreat, the one that we're doing this year, and it's really around feminine sexuality. Really holding a space for our, how do I even want to talk about it? Maybe I don't need to talk about it. Maybe I just leave it at that and you'll know, right? You'll know, you'll know. Okay, so that's that. Sarah, are you psychic? What the fuck is going on here? I love you, woman. Okay, let me feel. So those were two. We don't have a whole lot of time. We have a retreat going on today, and so I have to go. We start that at 10, and I know that some of the women here are on that retreat with me, so I want to give us time to prepare. I want to give myself time to shift gears and to prepare, so maybe we'll go for 10 more minutes. Malia, thank you so much. Malia just shared the retreat details in the comments. I'm just looking at the chart, so if you see me looking over here, it's just that I'm looking at the chart because this is what I want to talk about. This will be the third one, so we'll go into this one in the same way that we went into the other two, where I talk a little bit about the theme of it, and then give us a practice and maybe an invitation into something if it feels right. There is some real opportunity. How do I walk in it? I hate the word healing. I love it and I hate it. I think it sets us up for we're broken and we have to fix something. So let me just put that caveat out there. It's not that. It's not broken, need to fix something. It's more of mystical healing is awakened right now. Our capacity or the availability for miraculous healing or shifting of things that we thought could possibly never be transformed, transmuted, alchemized, changed, whether that be in the physical or that be in like physical health, or that be in emotional, mental kind of realms, health, or that be in our physical lives. Reason being, we are in a very good aspect to Chiron and Hygeia, who, if I had to choose, actually Chericlo pops into my mind. If I had to choose three, I would choose those three. If I had to choose three for healing, like I'm gonna facilitate a retreat on just healing, like shamanic healing, miraculous healing, also miraculous awakenings, miraculous Kundalini awakenings, and miraculous spiritual shifts. Chiron's the shaman. I don't think I have to talk much more about that, but that's initiations. That's initiations into spiritual self over little self, right? It's also beneath our Deepest Wounds Lie Our Greatest Gift. Just did a podcast with Robert Ojado on Chiron. Not specifically on Chiron, many things. I think around minute 40 or something, we dive into Chiron. So I'll kind of leave it as that as an offering. It's our latest podcast on ReWilding. It's also the latest YouTube video that went out. So maybe Belia or Leo, you can leave a link to that podcast, and I'll let you kind of go over there, because that Chiron myth is alive and well. And he does a really great job of talking about it and bringing us to the gifts of it. How it's destined. Also, how this moment in time is asking us to be our own shamans, like really to open up that shamanic capacity within self, be our own healers, our own guide, our own shaman. Now, bring Hygeia into the mix, and now I'm going to go into point 4. So I know this is point 3, this healing capacity that's going on right now. I'm going to weave this point into point 4, which will be about specifically to Lionsgate. I know we waited until the last minute to get to the Lionsgate energy, but I think this is just building us to get there. Hygeia. Hygeia is Kundalini goddess of miraculous awakening, Kundalini goddess of miraculous healing. When you work with her in a high octave, you can go search Google for her. You'll probably see that she's all about hygiene. Fuck off. For sure, on like low level, mundane, archetypal work, she's hygiene. Oh my God, right? But when you embody and you work with her, she is a Kundalini goddess of miraculous awakening, miraculous healing. She's very linked to the Indian pantheon goddess Lalita. So if any of you know Lalita, Lalita's sacred sexuality. Lalita is Kundalini goddess of miraculous awakening. Lalita is, sex magic. So I would put her on par with Isis. So we can start to shift in between these two, is feeling into that. Both of those, Chiron, shamanic healer, and Hygeia, Kundalini goddess of miraculous healing and awakening, both of them are in supportive aspects to this Lionsgate, in very supportive aspects to this Lionsgate. Okay, let me go into Lionsgate, and we'll springboard off of Hygeia. So if you can feel into that energy, remember this is embodiment, right? So if you can start to feel into this high activation, it's high activation. So when I facilitate a space for us to embody Hygeia and to walk into Hygeia energy and to open up to that energy within our bodies, it's oftentimes like very high vibrating, and you start to feel your cells vibrate at a higher level. If you listen to Kundalini soundtracks, that'll be my practice for this one. Kundalini soundtracks, we can share a few Kundalini pieces. We'll open up a post in our Facebook group. And I'll recommend like my top 3 songs for just allowing that energy to start to awaken in our bodies. And then everyone can share, pieces of music that you love. But it's this high vibrating, I'm just feeling once it starts to like roll through my system, like words just get lost, and I just kind of go into this awakening of it. It's an awakening. It shifts your state of consciousness. It moves you into a space of anything's possible, everything's possible. I'm so alive. I'm so awake. I'm so full of life force. I'm so full of spiritual. What word would I use? Spiritual juice, so full of spiritual juice. So this is very similar to Lionsgate Sirian energy. It's very similar to Sirius energy. Very similar. It's very high vibrating. We call Sirius, which is the brightest star in the sky, right? It's the brightest star in the sky. You can read up more about this, like all the astrological, the astronomical, I think I said that word right, things. But it's, hold on a second, let me just come back to the energy of this. It's so funny to deliver like lecture words and to be holding the energy. It's a really beautiful practice for myself personally. But if you feel into right now, there's this like portal. A lot of people call it a portal, the Lion's Gate portal. And it's open. It's open. And there's a way that we can access these energies at any point, right? At any point, but during different times of the year, it's more accessible. The veils are thinner, right? We just have to let go and it just pours in. Versus like working hard, 3-day meditate in the woods to even barely touch Sirian energy. But right now it's just there, right? It's just there and it's just pouring. So for me, this is where I lost my train of thought. Sirius is considered the spiritual sun. It's considered the spiritual sun. So if you were to feel into, okay, if the sun in astrology, the sun we see every day, if that like represents my primary personality, right? And Sirius represents my spiritual personality. Like it's my spiritual sun. It's my primary spiritual soul self. It's that. And we get this beautiful doorway to work with it, this beautiful window of time where it's literally like our spiritual sun or spiritual aspect of self. You could call that like your soul, your spiritual personality. If you had a spiritual personality and it was literally like lined up right in line with your central channel, right in line with the central column, the central channel, and you were to just breathe in your spiritual sun, your like soul self. It's very linked to soul self, but sometimes we can feel soul self is very earthy, very grounded. This is very high vibrating. It's very high vibrating when we work with Sirian energy. It's like high vibrating. If you go back to that Hygeia explanation that I gave you, around really high vibrating. It's that. Okay, so how would I work with this? This is always that moment when I feel into like what most serves the group and how I would work with it. It's probably very, very different than what really serves to offer in this space. I would, for embodiment practice, I love this. Anika, you just like brought words to the conversation that I was feeling. Technological advances. Oh no, I just shifted my screen. Every time I touch it, I turn. Now I'm sideways on my screen. I think that's a good time too, or I think that's a good sign that it's time for me to go. But let me feel into... Sit in meditation or move in meditation or dance or bring yourself to a space where you can open up to high-level spiritual technology, high-level spiritual light juice energy, and just let it pour in. Let it pour in. Kind of almost visualizing the floodgates opening and let it just pour in. And if it feels like you need to create more space in your body or your being, you can always use your central channel to start with, but then let it, as it's pouring in, go, okay, if I were gonna make more space in my body for my spiritual self, right? So Sirius as our spiritual sun, spiritual self, what do I let go of to make more space in my body to allow more of this energy to pour in. Yeah. Whew. We are in a beautiful, amazing time. I hope that this has served. If this has served, and if you feel like you know someone who could get something out of this, feel free to share it with them. Maybe we'll put this up on YouTube as well. I don't know, that's kind of up to the team, but it's definitely here in the group. And we'll leave it up for a week. There's between now and the 14th, it's 30% off of all ReWilding for Women online retreats. We're gonna pull them. So right now they're just up all the time, anyone can join, but we're going to do them in more of a cyclical rhythm and open them up when we can hold a container. for them in the future, when we can do Q&A, when we can create a space where there's a group of individuals kind of going through things at the same time. So, but for the next week, everything's still available, and there's a 30% off discount too. So if you just use Lionsgate, all capital, all one word, all of the retreats, not the 6 Faces workshops, but all of the retreats, the 5-day retreats, the 7-day retreats, including Kali and Persephone, which we spoke about, are all available until the 14th, midnight on the 14th, just after Friday the 13th, of course. And the retreat, the women's sexual healing retreat, is about halfway full at this point, working on getting some really good shared accommodations and easy ways to make travel happen. And so if that's singing to you, that's there. It's going to be big. The circle that's forming is very mature circle, not mature in age, but mature in energy, just deep, real, raw, so incredibly committed and so incredibly in. So it's really beautiful to just feel the energetics start to form. All right, thank you all so much for being here and co-creating this space and hanging out. Would love to hear how this went for you. Would love to hear comments and posts in the Facebook group. Feel free to share posts in the group about what's popped up for you. If you have other resources around some of the things that we've talked about, articles, thoughts, comments, questions, feel free to do that. That's what it's there for, is this kind of community and connection point around the different work or the different things that we explore. So I will see you where I see you, when I see you, and how I see you. So much love.